You propose professionalizing AI engineering as a solution to mitigating AI harms. What does this entail, and how would such an approach help in reducing the negative impacts of AI? Also, what advantages would it offer?
When I say professionalizing engineers, what I really mean is two things. There's like a procedural aspect and then a substantive or cultural change. The procedural aspect is you would require engineers to get a license. And that means that I cannot go build AI products at a university or a hospital or Google without getting a license first. The same way that lawyers, doctors, civil engineers, accountants, they all have licenses they have to get. They have tests that they have to take. They have to pass these tests. They have to show certain kind of like, I am an ethical person. I have references that can vouch for me. I have finished my certain like requisite education, and now I have this license. And with the license also comes certain obligations of, if you are an accountant, you need to do accounting in the approved ways. So in the use, we have the generally accepted accounting principles. And what those are kind of like technical standards of, this is how you do accounting in a way that the experts in the space have decided is the best, most accurate way to capture this information. If you don't do that, if you cut corners or if you kind of fudge some numbers, you are going to be liable for malpractice. So there's a whole kind of, you are making sure that the only people who enter the field are the people who are qualified. And then after they enter the field, you're making sure that they're still acting in line with best practices. And so like you need to have kind of disciplinary tribunals where I can send a complaint that, oh, for example, I noticed that my doctor had alcohol on his breath when he was evaluating me. And so I can file a complaint. I can sue that person in court, but I can also file a complaint to the board of medical professionals and say, I would like you to investigate this. I think that this is malpractice. And so those are two different ways that you can hold this person accountable for not being a professional. But the second thing is like a cultural change where with formalizing a profession, you like that things that come with the formal education, exams, renewing your licenses, so taking more exams, going to conferences, there is a cultural change that happens where you take pride in your profession in a different way. You want to maintain the integrity of your profession. You hold yourself to a higher standard. You have an intrinsic desire to be using the best science that's available to you. It becomes less about directly serving your employer and more about kind of serving the public. And benefits of this over with the existing system is, for example, in the medical profession, if I have discovered a new surgical technique that could save lives, I can go get a patent on it, but I am not allowed to prevent other physicians or hospitals from using that technique to save lives. Because the profession said, like, there are certain things that are more important than your ability to make money off of your discoveries. If you've discovered something that can save lives, that is available for all other medical professionals to use. If you take that example and you apply it in the AI context today, the head AI engineers at one company cannot talk to engineers at another company and say, wow, we discovered this really great way for us to anticipate harmful uses of our AI, or we've discovered this really great way to really strongly preserve the privacy of our users, because all of that information is a competitive advantage today to the company that they work for. So that would be sharing confidential information with a competitor. But if there was kind of a culture of professionalism, then that kind of information would be like publishable and something that you share and becomes a best practice in the field, and then gets enshrined in kind of like a book or kind of a guidelines for how engineers should behave, and that is taken out of like the competitive domain and made, this is publicly available knowledge that everyone deserves to have.